everyone, this is Gene from NYC, and I have another video for you guys. No, I will not be doing Queen Singstar, at least not yet. Need to warm up the vocals and all that stuff. But I actually did enjoy this game back when I first got it. Unfortunately, I've lost the microphones and all that. Actually, one of my gaming passions that I don't often, I should say, talk about are games like Singstar and Guitar Hero and Rock Band and all that. A bit hard to keep up, especially since the whole Rock Band thing went online, and I'm currently without a gaming system. But even prior to that, I'm a very much a console girl, and so when everything started just going PC, even console stuff started going PC and download, I kind of stopped trying to keep up. But anyway, so I guess video game karaoke is a bit of a geeky, nerdy passion of mine. and I do like to sing a lot, but this video, believe it or not, isn't really to talk about that. This is actually another video on Captain Marvel, but I'm going to approach it from a different perspective. One of the things that I was interested in was its soundtrack, right? One of the things that they were trying, and by they I mean the marketing team, was trying to really hype up was how 1990s this film was by showing us 90s things like a blockbuster video. But one of the things they really did talk about was the soundtrack and how it's supposed to have this, 1990s soundtrack, that's supposed to, I guess, set the scene, as it were. And I know that for Guardians of the Galaxy, one of the most praiseworthy features of those films has been its 70s and 80s soundtrack, which is related to the time period of the film itself, especially with the lead character of Star-Lord. So given that music is one of my passions, and actually one of my favorite periods of music is the 90s alt scene. Not really the grunge scene. I mean, I'm aware of it because I was there. I was like 7, 8 years old when Nirvana was a big deal in the early 90s. Now it's probably 9, around 8 or 9 years old when Kurt took his own life. So I do remember the period fairly well. And the Captain Marvel film is supposed to be set in the mid-1990s, in particular 1995, which is where I would have been 10 years old. So my memory isn't that bad yet. So I think I have a good knowledge base to draw from, especially since I'm a big fan of bands like the Smashing Pumpkins. Garbage is probably my favorite band coming out of that time period. Soundgarden. Bands of that nature. Bands that were truly alternative. Not too grunge. Grunge. The only band I ever truly thought was grunge was Nirvana. I never really thought any band after them was truly grunge. I think some were leaning on it, kind of borrowing elements of it, like Pearl Jam and the Stone Temple Pilots. But I don't think any band but Nirvana was ever truly grunge. But that's just me. But anyhow, so I was reading a few articles online that were talking about some of the standout tracks from the film. Now I'm gonna try to recall them all that were mentioned in this. So I'm gonna be clear. This is not the whole soundtrack. This is just the songs that the articles picked out and said that they were standout 90s tunes that they felt really worked for the film. So I'm going to try to recall them and give you my opinion about whether or not they really would work in a film like Captain Marvel, which seems to be very, I can't even call it girl power at this moment. It's more, unearned supremacy and, this very, from what I'm hearing anyway, false narrative of how women were being oppressed in the 1990s, and it's just not a message I agree with. I honestly thought that Captain Marvel was going to be one of those films that was just meh, and that maybe I would sit and watch if they happened to air it on TV one day, in a few years. But now, having heard the reviews and continue to listening to reviews and how they've done things like arbitrarily gender flip Marvel and all these very cringy scenes with Carol in the military and dealing with sexism, which actually I find deeply offensive because first of all there actually really is a very serious issue with sexism and sexual harassment and the interpersonal culture within the military. And I think to depict the sexism that Carol encounters in the film, from what I am hearing, again I haven't seen it myself and I don't plan to, but I do trust the reviews that I've heard, and they're all saying the same thing, that the sexism she's encountering in the films from the military scenes is just cartoonish, right? The men are coming across as these cartoonish, straw man, misogynist caricatures. And I'm really coming to have a deep disdain for caricatures, because what happens with a caricature is that it boils a point down to its most base elements and then exaggerates it to the point of parody. But to do all that, you also have to strip all the nuance out of it. And when we're talking about something as deep and complex and painful and personal for many people as sexism, especially sexism in the military, because military culture is very secluded, yeah, don't make, even if you are trying to, paint the legitimate sexism that may have been encountered, and no doubt is still encountered, as the enemy, don't make a clown out of the enemy, because then nobody respects it. And if nobody respects it, then the issue is not dealt with. So I'm legit, I'm triggered by the at least from what I'm hearing, by the way the film treats the supposed male oppression and sexism that Carol encounters. Anyhow, this is not about that. This is about the songs that are in the film that are the supposed 90s standouts. So one of the first songs mentioned, and I read 2 articles on this, was What a Man by Salt and Pepper, which I find interesting that they would put What a Man in this film, because What a Man is a pro-guy song. It's a woman praising her man. What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. That's the type of song it is. And so for a film that, from what I've been hearing, does not really, put men in a bright light, even in with the positive male characters like Coulson or Fury, they're definitely taking a big and long back seat to Carol here. So for a film that seems to be either demonizing men, or from what I'm hearing in a little bit that I've seen, is treating men like the driver in Driving Miss Daisy, I find it surprising that they put such a woman appreciating a man song in here. The next song that I heard was in this film, or at least a standout in this film, is TLC's Waterfalls. Okay, fair enough. Big title of the early to mid 1990s. I think it came out 1993 or 1994. It was that, sort of, PSA song, that song about how, a reckless lifestyle with drugs and sex and all that will lead to your death. It's actually, one of the most touching and sad songs that TLC ever made. So I have no issue with this song being in the film. Again, I don't know how it's used in the film. I don't know if it's meant to highlight a point in a certain scene, or if it's just, there for, sort of set decoration. Hey, remember this song from 1994 when you were a little kid? But I have no issue in and of itself with the song being included. Now, the one I was worried the most about was when I heard that Garbage, the band, was in this film. But it seems that they just went with the big chart topper, Only Happy When It Rains. So I'm not bothered by it. I really thought they were going to put in a song like Queer or Super Vixen, especially Super Vixen with the female empowerment anthem of the film. Super Vixen as a song is about female power, female dominance, with lines like, I'll be your religion, a fallen star you cannot live without, or bow down to me, right? So it's a very dark, demanding song where a woman is pretty much demanding that you worship her, and not only will you worship her, you will do it willingly. she It's a really cool song if you listen to it, but it is very, dark and heavy, and there is, this aspect of control. Similarly with Queer, right? Queer is a song about a woman using sex to basically mess with a man's head. So, given the themes of the film, I was thinking they were going to go with one of those hits, but they didn't. They stuck with the, the standard, MTV hit, Only Happy. So, I have no issue with that. I will admit I was surprised to hear that Come As You Are is in this film, because it is not the Nirvana song that I would have chosen. Honestly, if I had set the soundtrack, I would have probably chosen Heart Shaped Box as the song to go with from Nirvana, because it's a song about Kurt basically complaining about his wife Courtney Love, right? When your opening lyric is, she eyes me like a Pisces when I am weak, right? That's the song I would have gone with. That's just me though. That's just me though. I definitely wouldn't have chosen Come As You Are, especially since to this day I don't quite know what in the world he's talking about with Come As You Are. The only thing I remember the most about Come As You Are is the "and I swear that I don't have a gun" line, because of course, shortly after he killed himself by shooting himself in the head. So that always sounds like, a warning of sorts, knowing how his life ended. So not the song I would have chosen. I definitely would have gone with Heart Shaped Box, because it's such a mean and sarcastic song. That's just me though. The song that was, I'm not sure if I covered everyone. I think I covered most of it. I might be missing one or two tracks. But the song that surprised me the most, and that actually kind of upset me the most, that was in this film, is let's try this again. Celebrity Skin by Hole. Not that I have an issue with the song itself. In fact, it's the only song Hole ever recorded that I ever actually liked. So, it's not that. The song itself is not the issue. My issue with it is that, and I actually looked it up before I made this video, Celebrity Skin, both the album and the song, were released in 1998. This song is supposed to, this film is supposed to be set in 1995. Why are they using a song that is 3 years ahead? Now, it's possible that there's a sort of time skip. It's possible. Maybe. I'll give it that. But still, I'm a bit irked by the fact that a song from 1998 is being used in a movie that is set in 1995. Even games like GTA San Andreas, Vice City, they used music and songs and soundtracks that were appropriate to the time period, right? If you were playing San Andreas, you were not going to hear songs, from 1994, 1995 in that game on the radio stations, because this game takes place in 1992. For crying out loud, the show Cold Case does, period appropriate music better. In fact, much better than it seems that this film has. So there's that. I was actually quite miffed to hear that a song that was released 3 years later was included in a film from 1995. If you say something's going to be set in a certain time period, stick to that time period. That's my rule. I have no issue with the song itself. I have the issue with the again, the year the film is set and the year the actual song came out. So there's that. And then one more, I think. Then there's, of course, Just a Girl from No Doubt. Which, again, as a song, I understand why they chose it. I think that it's one of those things that's just, the nail is too on the head. It's like, oh, of course, the girl anthem, the women empowerment film chooses Just a Girl. Of all the songs that No Doubt had out at that time, you choose that one. Great. I got no issue with the song itself. It's just, again, just them being so obvious with it. And then from what I'm hearing, it plays over a fight scene, which I have no issue with it in and of itself. But from what I'm hearing, it's very poor placement. That's the issue. It's like, why would you choose this song to play over this fight scene? Right? So there's that. Interestingly enough, though, especially given that they showed that they don't really care about what year the song was released in, right? Given that they included Celebrity Skin, I'm surprised that they didn't go with the Spice Girls, with Wannabe, especially since they were the big, girl power, girl friendships forever band of the 1990s. Right, not their biggest hit, or at least one of their biggest hits, was "Wannabe." Right, if you wanna be my lover, you gotta get with my friends. That whole annoying shtick. So I am really surprised that they did not pick up that one. It's like, if they were gonna break the timing rule, I would have thought they would have done it for that song, not for Courtney Love. But anyhow, that's my opinion on the music, or at least some of the songs thus far. I don't really have an issue with the songs themselves for the most part. It's just that some of them, like What a Man and Celebrity Skin and Come As You Are, seem like odd placements in a film like this. And then there are some songs that I would have thought they would have gone with, like Super Vixen, Queer, Wannabe by the Spice Girls, that they didn't go with. But it is what it is. I didn't make the soundtrack, though I am pretty confident I could have done better with the song selection. Anyway, I will close this off with one of my favorite 90s songs. Given everything I've been hearing about when it comes to this film, and especially with Brie Larson's acting, it seems like she just may be a stupid girl. Anyhow, this has been another video that has gone on way too long. Have a good day, night, whatever it is you're doing. Have fun. Bye-bye.